Hey everyone, it's Pastor Ian here, once again with another one of your daily briefings. And today we're not going to be in Joshua, because today is Maundy Thursday, which is the day before Good Friday. So today is the day where traditionally we believe Jesus had his Last Supper with his disciples. It was the time when he broke bread, shared it with his friends, he shared the cup of wine, and he went off to pray before he was arrested, before he was taken before the high priests, before he was basically convicted in a sham trial. Good Friday has always been a special time of year for me because it's the most human of our Christian holidays. Because Christmas is supernatural. It's, God coming to earth and giving us his son. Easter Sunday is so supernatural because it's God coming back to life. And for me, Good Friday is the most human because of how human Jesus is in his last days. He doesn't behave like what you would expect a God to behave, willingly knowing that his friend was going to betray him and still breaking bread with him, knowing that all of the disciples are going to abandon him, and yet he still breaks bread with them. And for me, that is such an amazing thing because of how tempted he must have been to just lash into them and saying, I know what you're going to do. I know you're going to abandon me. Please don't abandon me. But he doesn't. All the disciples make this big show of we're going to stay with you. No matter what, we're going to stay with you. How true it is that usually the loudest people who say they'll never leave you are the ones who usually do. His disciples loudly say that they'll never leave him. Peter says, even if everybody else abandons you, I will never abandon you. And Jesus must have just been sitting there, knowing what was going to happen. And yet he doesn't waver. He doesn't stop. He doesn't choose to take another path. In Luke's gospel, we see Jesus praying in the garden by himself. He prays, he says, Lord, if this cup of suffering, please take it from me. But if not my will, but yours be done. What's amazing to me is in that moment, Jesus' humanity is so visible to us. Not just his divinity, not just the fact that he is God and man, but that he is human. That at that moment, he basically is sharing with God that he doesn't want to do it. He's saying, if it's possible, can we do it another way? And I mean, if you know what happens next because you've read the story or because you've heard of Easter before, or because, you're familiar. Jesus dies on the cross. And he says, God, please not this way. And it's funny because in that prayer you see both Jesus's fully humanness, where he says, please take this cup from me, and also his full divinity, where he says, you know what, if that's not possible, I'll do your will. Today is a day that normally we'd be spending with friends and family. Maundy Thursday, where there's that anticipation for Good Friday, there's that anticipation for Easter. And this is going to be the strangest Easter I know I for sure have ever experienced. And probably for the same for you. The encouraging thing to me is that Jesus doesn't give up on us. He does not stop loving us. Even though he should have. Even though we deserved it, he chooses to not give us what we deserve. And yet he breaks bread with his disciples. No doubt telling stories, laughing with them, enjoying this meal with them. All the while knowing what was coming next. You see, I don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. I don't know when this virus is going to be over. I don't know when we can go back to being with each other in physical proximity. I don't know when we'll have a vaccine. I don't know when we'll have a cure. I don't know. But what I do know is that God had a chance to leave us behind, to avoid all this pain and suffering and misery, and he chose to go to the cross for us. I won't be having a daily devotional tomorrow because it is Good Friday, but my prayer is that if you don't know that love of God that would drive him to the cross, willingly choosing to die that way. When I was younger, I thought he was a victim, that if only his disciples were strong enough or smart enough, if only, Pilate actually listened to his wife, or if only he did the right thing, if only the crowd wasn't stacked with people set against Jesus, if only. But now I realize that actually we need him on the cross. Because of the choices we've made in our lives, because of the sin we've allowed to grow in our lives, we actually need Jesus to die for us. And he does it. And that to me is an amazing, amazing thing. And for that reason, I'll follow him no matter what. I won't do it loudly. I won't say it loudly so everybody can hear, just like Peter. But when we look at the cross, how can we think anything but this must be God's Son who loves us? How could he love somebody like me that much? So if you are quarantined with your family, my encouragement is spend time with them. If you are not with your family, WhatsApp them, call them, let them know that you love them. Because Jesus was alone on Good Friday. Reach out to your single friends, your friends who are isolated, maybe they're not doing so great. Jesus was alone on Good Friday. But that means we don't have to be. Let's remember him tomorrow.